Hi, my name is Tomasz Poszytek, and in this video I would like to focus on the Copilot for Power Automate. This product has already hit the general availability. It is widely present, so it's not only in US region, but it's even in Europe, like my tenant is in Europe and I already have it. Also, it's been quite a buzzword recently, so all these Copilots were totally like they stole the show during the last Ignite, and they are appearing in almost every single product Microsoft is offering, or even not only a product, it's like even in every single service that Microsoft is offering. So I decided to take a second look. Like first look I took when I was writing an article for European SharePoint and Office 365 conference, the ESPC. You can find the link below. And when I was writing the article, I had the time to really work with that Copilot and to, try and modify my questions, try to modify the flow manually. So like there was some kind of mimicking that the outcomes are actually the way I was expecting them. However, I was not really satisfied at the moment when I was testing the Copilot. It was like 3 months ago. So I now want to take a look how it changed since then. And also I would like to take a look at the Copilot, the Power Automate New Designer, which also is now in a GA. Now, if you ask me, I personally find it I do like how it looks like. I totally don't like how it works. So for me, it's too slow. Loading is much slower than the classic designer. Also, it has quite a number of backward downgrades. Like you cannot really open and edit multiple actions at the same time. You can't copy paste. Some of the configuration fields are missing from actions. There is some kind of a problem when you're authoring expressions that the editors are missing or are not allowing you to put dynamic outcomes. You don't have an access to create an expression by an example. And there are plenty of more. And obviously, there are like some issues when you can't open a Cloudflow in the new designer, like if it's not built in a solution or if it has too many actions. However, I have no idea what it means that a flow has too many actions. Like where is this magical limit? But on the other hand, it as well has its pluses. Like I think the authoring of the single action is just easier because you have like everything on the same place on a single page. Also, it's much easier to author the large flows, which are not supported yet because they have too many actions. But if they are supported, then it will be easier to like zoom in, zoom out, and then as well use the map to navigate across the actions. Also, it looks like it's like lightweighted. So it might be just easier to like the new interface. So anyhow, I'll now use like two features which are now, very, very advertised around Power Automate Copilot and the new designer. First is the landing page where you're able actually to describe the design. That has been with us even before the Copilot buzzword appeared. So we were able to use AI to actually describe what we want to build. And then, the AI behind Power Automate was doing its best to propose us with a canvas for a Cloudflow that would fill our needs. Now, one thing to mention is that the Copilot has as well recently arrived to RPA, which as well helps you to describe what you need, like if you need a code, if you need an action, and then this Copilot in Power Automate for Desktop is able to help you to make actually the same things as I'll be showcasing you now for the Cloudflows. All right, ready? So let's go. So my idea is that I have here this list for travel requests. And what I would like the flow to do in the end, like after it's totally configured, is once the request is placed, I would like the flow to calculate day difference between the travel date, end date, and start date. Also to summarize the costs, so the expenses that will be made during the travel, and then to assign an approval to the requester's manager, and if it is approved, then to update the status that is approved. If it is rejected, to update the status that is rejected, and also to notify the requester. Also, what I could try to make is to ask the Copilot to make a condition that if total cost is, for example, above 1,000, to only then make the approval, and if it's not, to approve it automatically. All right. So let's try and make this. I have no idea how this will work. This is going to be like totally live. I haven't done it before. And also what is important is that Copilot is not like a regular ChatGPT. So you can't really conversate with it before it actually gives you the outcome. So you can't put it in a context. You can't tell it like what sources it should use and so on. The Copilot is like pre-trained and pre-adjusted ChatGPT, the chat AI that should already know the context and should already know how to, or maybe what to use to generate more relevant answers. All right, so let's start with this request. So I want to ask the Copilot to create a flow that starts with an approval for an item when the item is created on SharePoint list. And then after the approval is completed, to update the item with approval outcome and send the outcome to the author of the item. Pretty simple. Well, it's very simple to me. Let's see how it goes. Well, so this is what you were given, what I was given. And you can see what is the canvas that Power Automate is proposing. And, well, it's pretty okay. I have just no idea why there is this second condition down here. So maybe let's say I want a different suggestion. Right. Now, this is going to be even weirder. So let's try again. Yep, that looks a bit better. I think this get my profile is not really needed. So let's say differently. Start an approval, or let's rephrase it. So when an item on SharePoint is created, assign approval task to author's manager and inform author about the approval outcome. Right. So also, as you can see below, Power Automate is as well proposing me with some of these descriptions which might be suitable to my needs. So the second one seems to be pretty okay, but I would like something that has a manager. And I don't see anything about a manager. So I'll do my best. I'll try with this description and let's see what will be now given. Well, that is good. So it's getting the manager, it's creating the approval. Okay, it's waiting, and then it's sending the email. So what I would like as well, send approval task to author's manager and inform author about the approval. Also update the SharePoint item with the outcome details, right? So let's try now what will be given in return. Okay, yep. So there is again this condition. I have no idea what is this condition doing. And I feel it's like a roulette. Like if I say show a different suggestion, it might be worse than the current one, but I'll try and see. Nope. And nope. So you see, it's missing this context of the manager, and it's out of ideas, right? It seems that it's out of ideas. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm luckily still able to look back to what was proposed in the first place. So to me, this seems to be the most relevant. So I'll say next, and let's see what we have. So the next stage is to authorize all these connections, right? And then is to create a flow. So here I have the flow created, and there is a Copilot here. So first I need to configure the parameters. So then I'll use the HR as the site I want to use, and I want to use a list. Now that's interesting, to be honest. So the site, site is demo site. It's not HR. That is my bad. It was a demo site. And in this site, there is a list called travel requests. Fantastic. All right. So now this is when an item is created. Now get a manager of whom? Body author email. That works cool. And then create approval. Now, this action is not working because, for some reasons it just failed. It totally failed. So here this creation doesn't work. So I'll just configure it. No, it doesn't work really. So I'll say first to respond. So obviously, I think it failed because it was trying to choose an approval type which was not one from this enumerated list of approval types, right? It was just like using a term called approve reject without the first to respond, or everyone must approve. This is the reason I think it failed. But let's try to make it differently. So I'll ask the bot now to input an approval action by the manager below the get manager action. Maybe not. Let's say create approval. And let's see what will happen now. So what I expect is that below the get manager, there will be new create an approval action that will be configured to be made by manager. And so it said that it has updated this action, which is okay. So it worked. All right, that's fine. Well, obviously, what could be even better is that here the item link and item description is pointing to that created SharePoint item, but you can't have everything, right? So it's not that easy. And here we need to update the approval ID. So let's say this is something I can handle myself. All right. Now let's see, what is this condition? So here is what is rejected, and here is approved. Like, well, that is not really needed, so we don't need a second condition. So I will just get rid of it. Now, what I want as well to have is to calculate difference between travel, difference, let's say, difference in days between travel start date and travel end date after a flow is triggered. So let's see if it will be able to provide me like an expression that I could use, or maybe if it could like insert a new action. Right, so it gave me an instruction. I don't feel it's correct. We can try it, but create maybe an expression in a compose action. Maybe a column, because between values from travel start column. Now let's try this way. I have no idea if it will be able to actually insert the compose action, but it had entered somewhere the compose action. Look, it has entered the compose action, and well, it was referring to update item, which is correct. This is all correct. The expression, I think it's wrong, because it's not. I think it's not really read as an expression. It's just read as a string. But what I want to do is to maybe undo this change, and then I will use the same instruction, and I'll say create an expression in compose action after the trigger, so that I suppose that this compose action will now be, added below the trigger. So yeah, fingers crossed. Yep, it has added action. It has updated the approvals actions. And where has it added? Yay, there it is. Look. So it worked, but I think, as mentioned, that it will not work, because this way it's treated as a string. So if I want to turn it into an expression, it actually be typed in this window, and then if it's all correct, it will be, put in there, but it's not. So it says the expression is invalid. Well, now it works. I have no idea what was wrong. Maybe there was some kind of capitalics or not. So calculate day difference. Fantastic. So we have first action, difference. So we have this first action. Now, add a compose action below the trigger with expression that calculates sum of, now what were these columns names? It was the estimated airfare and hotel cost. Let's see how this will work. If it's able to to update the flow with this new compose? No. Yeah, let's use or reuse this this expression. I mean this instruction. Okay, let's see. Now, what I'm still missing here is that, you know, I would like just like in a single instruction to not only tell it to create this compose action, but as well to update the item. Where has it added this action? Here. No, it's totally wrong. Use this expression. That's max. It's estimated alpha and estimated holocaust. Yeah. All right. So let's say that was 50-50. Like one action, it almost configured correctly. The whole flow was configured correctly. What it hasn't configured correctly is this small expression things. Right. So now I would like it to say update the item what are these columns names now? It's travel duration and total cost. How do you think this will work now? Will you be able to create an update item action and update these two values in it? So it has updated the existing actions. It has updated the calculate date difference. I don't know if this is set to be this kind of a string, if this is going to work. I'll just leave it, okay? And then we'll see. And it has as well updated the items here. Travel duration and total cost. The question is if those are the internal names of these columns. Travel duration. No, it's not. It's slightly different. And total cost, that's correct. But travel duration, oh gosh, internal names is just different. How should I know if I'm just a citizen developer who has no idea on how to use Power Automate? Yeah, so let's stick to that. Obviously, I would like to have this update item slightly earlier so that it's not only updated after an item is approved or rejected, but before. Nevertheless. All right. Yes, but this is not the most important thing. So I would like to have the approval only when the total cost is above 1K. Let's try and write an instruction. And what do you think? Will it be able to create a condition and then put the whole approval to the yes branch? And come on, just an instruction. Well, that's obviously what I want to have, but I would like you to actually do it for me. This is what I was expecting, right? Weren't you expecting that as well? That is boring, right? So the point is that obviously I can do it myself, and I can even author the whole flow myself. It's all fine. But I would like to make the Copilot to somehow do it for me. I don't really have to know how to make it myself. I mean, even though I have this instruction now written, I would just feel still better if this instruction was just executed and I do see the outcome. So, maybe this way. So with that, I would like that it at least is able to create a condition action that evaluates. Yes, look at that. I mean, it has created the condition. It has created a condition, but the condition is not configured. But anyhow, yeah, let's say that's all fine. So I'll use the total cost is greater than. Then it goes to manager and it stays there. Now I would like to copy this action and then paste it under the false, but I can't because there is no copy paste in the new studio. Now these send and email actions, they're all correct. The recipient, the outcome, the body is all fine. Just the send as is incorrect because I'm not able to send as the bot, obviously. So the last thing is that maybe I'll put it in quotes so that it's more specific to which item I'm referring. And let's see if it will be able to create this update item action under the false branch, since I'm not able to copy paste. No, gosh, I don't want to have an instruction. Right, so let's try and do it this way. Copy update item action and paste it under the false branch of the condition 2. And I wonder if it will be able to make this copy paste for me. Because actually what I want is to have this update item in here. See, so it is providing me with instruction on how I should copy paste. So it's telling me that I should just select this action, then right click it and select copy. But there is no copy. Yeah, that's a pity. So yeah, I'll now save this flow. And well, it says the inputs here is invalid. So it seems that something is wrong when speaking about the relation to an existing contents. So let's do it again. Let's replace it with travel end date. It's going to travel end date, and here we'll use travel start date. And is that correct? No, the total cost is wrong as well. So I don't really know if this is because it's using the trigger outputs and then body, or if there is anything else which is wrong. Let's see. Because the internal name, sorry, it's all looked to be correct. Yeah, so possibly that the problem with those expressions were that it was using the trigger outputs on the trigger body. And look, it has been switched into the valid calculation. So it may be that what I was suggested as a plain text, what I was thinking about is a plain text, it was actually correct. Anyhow, let me now create, a test entry, and let's see if this is going to work fine. Okay, so the data that I've entered, it should be like 3 days for the trip, and the total cost is 1K 120, so it's above 1K. And yeah, let's see what will this flow do now as I create a new item. Oh, you know what we have forgotten as well, to set statuses of the item itself. So it's not being updated, as I recall. Update item actions so that they change. Hey, let's see if it will be able to modify these two actions so that they as well store the approval outcome accordingly. Well, it says these calculation columns have been updated. The condition 2 has been updated. That is okay. And then the update item were, look, yeah, it worked. What I dislike is still that it is referring to some kind of internal name which doesn't exist on the list. And what I dislike as well is that it has again changed these expressions to something which wasn't working. Because it has forgotten some symbols. So it has failed. The first attempt failed because it was unable to calculate the difference. The template language function int was invoked with a parameter that is not valid. Well, obviously, it is invalid. So, sorry Copilot, but you failed. So you can't use the calculate date difference on date. What you could do possibly is, instead of using int, is to use ticks, right? So we'll have ticks, and then there is possibly some kind of the division, that because ticks is in milliseconds, so we would need to make a div of this outcome with, I have actually no freaking idea. I would need to Google it, like how many milliseconds is a day, and then save. So that should hopefully return the difference in days. So let's use the test, and let's test it with the recently failed trigger, and let's see if this kind of conversion will work, but still not. That's 1120. Oh, and that's a string, so we have to make this invisible conversion here. So it will be converted from the outputs. This is what I dislike as well. It's like that this pane here, it's showing and then hiding, and it's so frustrating. So I'll use float and then total cost. And well, hopefully this time it will work just fine. This recording is only like 40 minutes. And I believe that if you're doing the same flow on your own without retrying to force Copilot to create things for you, you would already be at home with the working solution. Meanwhile, because I was really trying hard to let the Copilot to create most of this flow, I'm still struggling with the quality and with the outcomes. So right now, it has been fired. Now it's waiting for the approval, so I'll just navigate to approvals that I have received, and or that I have sent, and to whom it was sent. Oh, it was sent to Marta. So now she's going to approve this 12 request, but since I can't sign into her account, I'll just cancel this approval. And I will place the new approval from John Researcher's perspective. Let's do it this way. Oh, but John Researcher has no permissions to this site. Funny. All right, John. And yep, now John places new request. I think it's in milliseconds. All right, save. Now we have a second instance pending. And let's see what's going to happen as it is triggered. The pretty cool thing around the new the new designer is that for the trigger, you are able to configure the number of hits that are done to the webhooks. So like you can define like how frequently there should be a check for new items. All right, this one is running, and I have been assigned a task as I saw, and as you have seen, because there was this dialog window there. Yep, so I'll say yes, I approve it. What I want to check now is if that instance is going to complete successfully, but it hasn't, because possibly the update item is not working. Moreover, the outcome is incorrect. I mean, the condition is incorrect because it should evaluate to true, and it has evaluated to false. So oh my gosh, this is why it's not working, because the configuration of this action is as well wrong. It's not a data set. It's not a data set. Or is it? Still, I am pretty unhappy with what we have achieved by building this very, very small and very easy flow for nearly an hour. So, right. That's the end of this presentation. That's the end of this video. And I can't really say anything good about what we have experienced. Like, I would say that the Copilot is able to somehow help you in the very, very beginning, like when you want to create this canvas for the flow. But later, as you try and to include it or involve it in something more complex, in some more complex steps or changes to the Power Automate design, I think it's getting lost. What we can try and as well to ask it is to, for example, explain the flow and tell me what it does. So that's a pretty cool feature that can help you to somehow boost your boost the time that you possibly can spend when writing a documentation. So that is another feature you can use. There are some suggestions that you can use to get started. But to be honest, I don't really know how this can effectively help any maker to create flows faster. I mean, as of today, because for us and for anyone who has any experience, any knowledge around Power Automate, this kind of conversating and then checking every time what has been built and enhancing or adjusting what has been auto-created, that actually puts a lot of more effort on top of what we can achieve just by doing. Yeah, we're done. We're done here. All right, so thank you very much for spending this time with me. And I don't really know if what I was showing you and my struggles will be anyhow valuable to you. What I can tell in the end is that I really liked the beginning. So when I was describing what kind of flow I want and then the outcome, so the canvas that was generated, it was pretty okay. This was something I was, that could somehow help me in the beginning. So to start with, but then, it was like 50-50. So sometimes, as you remember, Copilot was able to help us with creation of expressions or with changing the shape, the layout, the logic in the flow. Other times it was either just showing us the instructions of what should we do, or it was doing some kind of awkward things. Luckily, it has never shown us the answer that it hasn't understood and that it hasn't understand us, which was good because at the times I was testing in the first place, like these 3-4 months ago, it was constantly asking me to rephrase what I was writing because it was not able to understand. So that is a progress. That is something good. But honestly, apart from that, everything else, I'm pretty sure we would be able to make it faster if we were not using Copilot. But it's a fancy new thing, and it's really good to know how it works, and it's also good to know how to use it and maybe when. And then speaking about the new designer, as you saw, there were as well a couple of issues I had with authoring flow using that. Like one of those that I'm really missing is the lack of copy-paste functionality, or this ability at least to have these like 2 actions or many actions edited in the same time, so that I would simply be able to copy paste things across the fields. What I'm as well missing is that when you when you create a new action and you have this, picker of actions and groups of actions, I think it should be sorted using the lastly used or mostly used parameter, not just alphabetically. And what I'm trying to say is that there is lots and lots of space for an improvement. Luckily, we're still able to switch from the modern designer to the classic designer. So if you can't, achieve what you want, or the time that you need to achieve that in the new designer is too long, then switch to the classic designer. And, I'll keep my fingers crossed for this new approach to develop further, so that it will become really, really useful and it will be able to speed up our work. As of today, it's not. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I hope you find it still valuable despite the fact it's so long. I would love to learn about your experiences and about your comments and how you find, the Copilot, the new designer, the AI behind the Power Automate. What is your experience working with that? How it helped you? How it made your work harder? Anything you'd like to share? I'm really all ears and would love to know. Thank you very much for watching once again. Rate my video, subscribe to my channel, and until the next time. Bye bye.